Suchita, a 24-year-old software engineer, is on her phone with her father. No, Dad. This year I'll stay in Mumbai for Holi. No, you won't. There's no discussion on this. I've been celebrating every Holi in Bhopal since childhood with you guys. This year I just want to stay with my friends. You can have all the fun with your friends. The rest of the year, Holi and Diwali is for family. There's nothing like that. Stop making random rules, Dad. Please, na. Everybody else is also staying here. So what? I don't care about others. And the mom is standing right next to Dad and she says, "Let her stay na." What let her stay? Stop spoiling her as always. And she's listening to this. Mom is not spoiling me, she's just being normal. Why don't you listen to her sometimes? What did you say? She's become so rude, look how she's talking to me. Listen to me carefully. If you can't even show your face on Holi Diwali, don't ever come back. I won't. And she hangs up the phone. Suchita and her father, they actually have deep love for each other. In usual days, she can't even go a single day without talking to him. But then these two quarrel a lot, and once in a while they have these big fights. And when they fight like this, Suchita usually stays upset for like a week, like she stops even taking his calls. This time also, she ultimately did not go to Bhopal. She stayed in Mumbai also as a rebellion. Her anger was fading away gradually, and 4 days after Holi, she was still a bit upset, still not talking to her dad. She gets a call from her mother. There's bad news. Her father had passed away. He died of a heart attack. Her father was a heart patient since many years. He got his first heart attack 3 years back at the early age of 48. Doctors urgently asked him to fix his lifestyle. He did for a few months, but then went back to his normal routine, even gained more weight. And now at the age of 51, 4 days after Holi, he had his second heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital but couldn't be saved. Now about a year and a half has passed. Suchita is still living with one of her best friends. She's working in Mumbai. It's about 8 p.m. in the night and her friend walks into her room. "Hey, so what are we having for dinner tonight?" But then she sees Suchita crying. She's like, "Hey, what happened?" Now, even though she had some idea what was happening because similar episodes had been happening since past 1.5 years, but she still wants her to talk to her. "Hey, tell me what's going on." Nothing, it's nothing. No, tell me, you have to talk to me. "I'm just a terrible person. I'm the worst daughter in the entire world. I shouldn't even be alive. I'm so pathetic." Suchita is still living with immense, devastating regret after how things went with her dad. She regrets so many things. How she fought with him, how she didn't visit them, how she couldn't even meet him at the end. Every once in a while, she remembers the whole thing and cries endlessly. She blames herself also. How could I do this? Did my father die because of me? How could I treat him like that? I ignored him. I put him down. How could I stop talking to him for so long? And when she goes through such an episode of regret, she cries and cries. She cannot fall asleep. Next day, she's unable to go to work. She even stops eating. And then after a day, she just goes back to normal. The regret comes like a wave, consumes her, and then just goes back. In this video, we will understand regret better and also help Suchita. Regret can be for many different things. Let's look at some examples. Miley Cyrus regrets swinging around naked in her Wrecking Ball music video. I mean, she said, that's something you can't take away. Swinging around naked on a wrecking ball lives forever. Once you do that, it's forever. I'm never living that down. I will always be the naked girl on the wrecking ball. That's my worst nightmare, that being played at my funeral. Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones, she regrets not going to college. I wish I'd had the university experience. I wish I could have gone out and drunk a lot and thrown up in the middle of a club without it being photographed. But I am happy with my Game of Thrones experience. I don't think I missed out on too much. Other common regrets from people are, I regret not following my dream. I regret not telling somebody I loved them. I regret not standing up to that bully. I regret not giving importance to my friends, like I'm so alone right now. What do you think regret does to your mind? In normal language, we say things like, he's carrying a lot of guilt. She's weighed down by a lot of regret. Turns out regret actually does weigh you down, almost literally. Researchers in Princeton and Waterloo did a study on this. They asked the question if guilt is actually felt as a sensation of weight in the body. So they took some participants and divided them in 4 different groups. First group is asked to think about some unethical actions that they did in the past. This is to induce regret and guilt in them. Rest of the groups were not supposed to feel regret. So the second group has to think about somebody else's unethical actions. Third group has to think about their own past ethical actions. Fourth group doesn't have to think about anything. So after all the groups were done thinking about their past memories, then they were asked to rate the subjective feelings of their own body weight as compared to average. Like basically, do you feel less weight than usual, same as usual, or more weight than usual? Like what do you feel? They found out that the group 1, which recalled their their own unethical acts reported increased subjective body weight as compared to all the other three groups. This is so trippy, like regret literally makes you feel heavier in the body. If you're liking this video so far, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. My subscribers have not been growing lately. So the next question is regret a good thing or a bad thing? So let's understand the concept of regret and is it good or bad. To begin with, regret can be divided in two types. First, self-focused regret, where you feel bad that you made some mistake and hurt yourself and damaged something of your own. Second, other-focused regret, also called remorse, where you feel bad that you hurt somebody else in some way. Other dimension with regret is retrospective and prospective. Retrospective regret is feeling regret for the mistakes that you made in the past. Prospective regret is future-related, which is, oh, if I do this, I will regret it. You are anticipating regret. Now, all four of those are actually very important for us. We need self-focused regret so we learn from our own mistakes and improve as an individual. We need other-focused regret, remorse, so that we remain moral and behave ethically. We need the past regret so that we don't keep repeating the same mistake. We learn from it. And we need that future regret so that we can predict the future and prevent some mistakes even from happening. Imagine if we did not have these regrets. Now, what would a human look like without these regrets? A psychopath? Well, not entirely. Researchers from Harvard and Yale have revealed that psychopaths actually do feel regret, but not all of those four. They're only capable of feeling one kind of regret, which is past self-focused regret. For example, if they lose money in gambling, they may feel regret. Oh, why did I do this? What they can't do is feel regret for others. They don't have any remorse. That's like the hallmark of psychopathy. Like they don't have that empathy. And second, this is what the researchers specially found out. Like this was the new discovery that they are actually blind to future regret as well. So basically they can't make use of the information to predict the future that, oh, you know what, I might regret this. So their decision making basically does not change. So as they go forward, they keep making new bad decisions. So we can say psychopaths do feel regret, but not the full range of it. So for a normal, mentally healthy individual, all four of those regrets should be functioning. But as with anything else, too much is obviously bad. Excessive regret does have negative effects. It increases our stress, negatively affects our physical health, and can throw off the balance of our hormones and immune system. Excessive regret is not just an unpleasant experience, it's also unhealthy. Remember what Suchita was going through? Like that was clearly not functional or healthy. Her sleep, productivity, mental health, everything was affected. It's time to now help her out. So Suchita now goes to a therapist and she tells them everything, what happened. She talks about all the regrets that she's been having. So then therapist asks, so right now, what's your dominant regret? The dominant one would be, I was fighting with him in his last days. So you're feeling that since it was his last days, he deserved better and you just gave him a hard time. Yes, exactly. Okay, so how often did you fight with him before that time? Well, we argued a lot actually. I mean, every once in a week. But a big fight like that, probably 3 or 4 times a year. So you clearly regret that last fight so much. Now, answer this. If your dad was still alive, would you still regret that particular fight so much after all this time? No, because, like I said, fights were pretty common. So in that moment, when that fight was happening, is there any way that you could have known that he would have a heart attack in 4 days? This question shakes her and she starts crying again. No, of course not. I could not have known. So we can say that in that moment, you were acting completely normal and usual, nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah, that was normal. So why are you hating yourself for acting just normal and usual? She takes a deep breath and just nods and she seems to feel a bit lighter. So the first point is there's really no point torturing yourself thinking, why did I do this? Why did I do that? Whatever stupidity or immoral act that you did in any given moment was technically the best thing or the only thing that you could do at the time, given your knowledge and skills at the time. You can't read the future. You can't act better than what you're capable of. So many times very basic, usual decisions lead to unintended, unexpected, negative or positive consequences. Things that you could never foresee. Like a wife asks her husband to go get some vegetables from the market. The husband says, no, just call them and they'll deliver it. She says, no, we can't get them delivered. They actually send in rotten pieces. I want you to go and select them properly. He says, so what, 1 or 2 pieces are rotten? Like, I don't feel like going. It's not 1 or 2 pieces. Sometimes the whole lot is bad. You have to go. So husband decides to go. It's raining outside. He's climbing the steps of the shop. There's some water on the steps. He doesn't see it and he slips. His left leg gets fractured. Now the wife is blaming herself. Now she has regret. Why did I push him? I should have just let them deliver it. And this kind of thinking is wrong, because what she did in that moment was completely normal and usual. Just because that incident led to the husband breaking his bone does not mean that what she did was now extra wrong or wrong. In life, unintended, unexpected things happen. In short, shit happens. Then therapist asks her, okay, what else do you regret? Well, now I regret that I didn't go for Holi. Like the whole year I'm away from them. They were calling me. They needed me. I prioritized everything else. I didn't prioritize my parents. I really am a bad daughter. So what were your reasons behind not going? I just wanted to have one Holi with my friends. Everyone else was staying. I just did not want to miss out. Okay. Any other reason? Well, there was a lot of pressure of work too. Because if I had gone, it would have taken like 4 days. And I'm usually not able to work in my hometown. Here, the Holi would have been done in like a few hours and I would be able to work better. So I just stayed. Okay, any other reason? Well, this is not the main one, but I also kind of wanted to save some money. Like I knew if I'd gone, they would have paid for my flight tickets, and I knew they were kind of struggling with money. And I also didn't want to spend my own money because I'm planning to buy a laptop soon. I mean, yeah, this was not the main reason, but it was in my mind. Okay, so in your mind, the 2 choices were, on one hand, I can go back to Bhopal, meet my parents for Holi, something that I've been doing over and over since my childhood. And the option 2 in your mind was that, yeah, I mean, I can stay here, have fun with my friends. It would be something new. I can work better. I can save some money. And you went with the second choice. And when you told others about this choice, what was their reaction? Well, everybody was happy for me. Like my friends were excited. Even my mom told me it's good, just that my dad didn't like it. Okay. And you told me that many of your colleagues also made a similar choice. So now when you think of them, like they did not go meet their parents in their hometowns, like what is your perception of them? Do you think they are horrible now? No, of course not. I mean, they're not horrible. They're nice people. So why are you punishing yourself for something which you would not punish others for? This makes her think again, and she just pauses and just says, yeah, you're right. Thanks for this. Now, this is the second important point now. Quite often when you're regretting excessively, you're just being unreasonably harsh on yourself. You're using harsher standards for yourself. You would not find it that big of a deal if others did the same thing. So you need to think of your actions from an outside perspective. Basically, you'll have to think about the whole thing as neutrally as you can, as if you weren't even involved in it. But the conversation goes on. Suchita tells the therapist, but now I do think it's a bad choice. I mean, people actually should go to their parents. Okay, why? Well, they are your parents. They did so much for you. They spent their whole life trying to do things for you. They wait for you to call them. They wait for you to visit them. That's one thing that they look forward to the whole year, and we just shut them down like that. I mean, it's so wrong. We shouldn't be so selfish. I mean, family is the most important thing. Okay, so how do you think this realization will change your life now? Well, now I'm going to treat my mom with the highest priority. I'll give her as much love as I can. I always took her for granted. Not anymore. And I also really need to work on my anger. Like after each fight, I can't just disappear. I mean, I really don't want to stay upset for such a long time, but it's just so hard for me to go back to normal. So you're saying you're going to prioritize your mom and you're going to work on your emotions. Yes, I need to. And what you just did right now is the right approach. Now you're talking about learning and improving. You really need to shift from blaming yourself to positive change. And this is my final point for today. You must understand how life works. Life is full of choices. Each choice will have its own pros and cons. You can pick one, but you're going to leave something in the second one. And whatever you like right now, you may not like it again in the future because you are changing also. So it's impossible to make perfect decisions in life. It's impossible to have the perfect balance of priorities. You'll always make wrong choices. You'll always do suboptimal things. But the best approach to life is, instead of blaming yourself for all the suboptimal choices, focus on learning, focus on reflection and changing. How can I prevent this from happening again? Like I discussed earlier, a primary function of regret is for you to learn and grow. If in the name of regret, you just keep blaming yourself and torturing yourself, then your regret just becomes useless, depressing brain activity. And that's what you need to avoid. Hope this helps. Good luck. Also, I recently created a video on worrying and overthinking. You can watch it here. Shridhar Lifeschool is a team of psychologists who specialize in counseling. If you're going through very difficult times or you want to achieve higher well-being, we offer one-on-one counseling for individuals, couples, parents, and their children. To book sessions, go to our website shridharlifeschool.com.